Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. The hashtag Fearless in October protest recorded a low turnout in the Federal Capital Territory and states amid the heavy presence of security operatives. This was as the organisers of the protest, the Take It Back movement, rejected the planned 30-day National Youth Confab announced early on Tuesday by President Bola Tinubu. The group described the initiative as a jamboree designed to reward the president's supporters. In his Independence Day address, Tinubu announced plans to convene a youth conference, which he said would be held for 30 days to address and discuss challenges facing the Nigerian youth, who accounted for more than 60% of Nigeria's population. Reaction to the plan, the national coordinator of the Take It Back movement, Juwon Sanyaolu, noted that the president did not organize any confabs before implementing his policies. In a country as diverse and dynamic as Nigeria, protests have become a powerful tool for citizens to express their frustrations, demand accountability, and advocate change. But just how effective are protests in Nigeria, especially 64 years after independence? Nigeria, a nation of over 200 million people and numerous resources, continues to grapple with social, political, and economic challenges. News Central's Bettina Nweli has more in this report.
Mantra, but he has forgotten. He's giving us shaggy.
From the protest against the military rule in the 1990s to the hashtag Occupy Nigeria movement in 2012 and the global sensation of the hashtag EndSARS protest in 2020, among others, Nigeria has a rich history of civil resistance. Each protest has had varying degrees of success in achieving its objectives. The power of collective action in Nigeria can be traced back to the colonial era. Protests, strikes, and boycotts played pivotal roles in the struggle for independence in 1960.
Most people are hungry, most of the citizens. And even like as a businessman, the customers are not turning up. Like things have went downhill, as in I'm short of words to explain.
They are there to serve us, but now they believe that we are people that are serving them, and it's not proper. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
In 2012, Nigeria experienced one of its largest nationwide protests, the hashtag Occupy Nigeria movement. Triggered by the government's removal of fuel subsidies, the protest brought the country to a standstill, uniting Nigerians across ethnic and religious divides in their opposition to economic hardship. 64 years after independence, the removal of subsidies seems to have plunged the nation deep in hunger. For many, the promise of a better tomorrow feels distant. Inflation rises while wages remain stagnant. The basic necessities such as food, fuel, and housing have become luxuries for the average Nigerian. Fuel scarcity persists despite Nigeria's wealth in oil. Families are forced to make hard decisions of survival over comfort and hope over despair.
What we have seen over the past 64 years is the increasing worsening of our lot as working people. We have seen a situation in which poverty rate has continued to increase. We have seen a situation in which access to basic services has continued to reduce, such that education is almost totally inaccessible for the child of the common man today, such that food is almost inaccessible for the bulk of Nigerian people today. We have too many of our people sleeping on the streets who are homeless today. That is the situation we are in today.
Nigerians are hungry and suffering. Formerly, we used to buy 1 dereka of beans for 500. Now it's 2,000 naira for loin. The white one is 1,005. One piece of fish before, it was 300, 500. Now it's 4,000 naira.
This is the first time in my life at age 56 that I'm seeing an Independence Day being celebrated with mass protest. Nigerians are not happy, and so the government are celebrating their jamboree. We are protesting against them.
Today is a symbolic day for Nigerians to say we reject their own independence and we want our own independence from internal colonizers. So if they don't listen, why are they doing everything? Why do you have police today if they are not listening? If they are not afraid? Yeah.
I'm happy for the country. I'm happy for myself. 64 years is no joke. for we coming together and this standing together and this strong and this progressive as a nation is something to celebrate, not something to protest about. Thank you.
Protests, but peacefully organized as this, will continue to be a critical aspect of Nigeria's evolving democracy. As the nation faces ongoing challenges such as economic disparity, corruption, and insecurity, citizens will likely keep raising their voices. As Nigeria turns 64 as an independent nation, the role of activism cannot be overemphasized. In Lagos, for News Central, I am Bettina Nwili.
As Nigeria marks its 64th independence anniversary, senior government officials say that despite the difficulties being faced in the country, Nigeria is on the right track and has made tremendous progress. This was after the independence anniversary parade at the State House in Abuja. Amadine Uye reports. We'll bring to you that report in our subsequent news bulletin, but still staying with Nigeria as it marks its 64th independence anniversary. The nation's role in global affairs remains a central topic of discussion. Despite grappling with significant economic and security challenges, Nigeria continues to assert itself as a major player on both the regional and international stages. Nigeria plays a pivotal role in regional organizations such as the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, and the African Union, actively contributing to peacekeeping missions and regional security initiatives, highlighting its dedication to stability across the continent. Additionally, Nigeria has bolstered its global partnerships with key nations including China, the United States, and members of the European Union. These relationships have spurred significant investments in sectors like infrastructure, energy, and agriculture. As the country celebrates 64 years of independence, it remains essential to reflect on Nigeria's standing in global affairs and the opportunities that lie ahead for its continued growth and influence. We'll go on a quick break now. When we come back, reactions trail court's order on the release of the voters' register for a Rivers State local government poll. Stay with us. And thanks for staying with us. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara earlier this week assured that the local government election in the state will proceed as planned on October 5, 2024. He made this assurance during an inspection of an ongoing road project in the state. The governor also paid an unscheduled visit to the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, where he was received by officials led by the chairman, retired Justice Adolphus Enebeli. During their discussions, Enebeli assured Fubara that the Electoral Commission is prepared to conduct the election. To discuss more on this, I'm being joined by Chairman, Rivers State Ethnic Youth Leaders Coalition, Engineer Lemosi Yamabana. Thank you for being here with me this morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, we're aware that the Federal High Court in Abuja stopped INEC from releasing the register of voters for Rivers State, for the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, to the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, I mean to say, ahead of the local government elections. Now, if the order has come from Abuja, why is it that the governor is ready to proceed with the election? Are you there? All right, we seem to have a little connectivity issue there. But if you can get, can you go ahead and react to the question?
Well, I didn't get you very
All right,
clearly.
good. I'm just going to repeat myself. We do know that the Federal High Court has indeed given an injunction that it shouldn't go ahead to release the voters' register to RISIC there in Rivers. Why is it that the governor and, of course, INEC has said they would go ahead with the elections? Why?
Well, thank you very much. I want to tell you that before that purported court pronouncement, the voter register has already been released to RISEC. So the governor is only concerned about democracy. Remember, there is a Supreme Court ruling that has mandated local, what do you call it, autonomy of the local government. And consequence to that, the presidency had a political solution that within 3 months, which allows sometime in, I think, this month, October, from thence, all states should conduct local government elections. And states across the nation have been conducting local government elections. Why would the case of Rivers State be different? And you see, because the governor is a Democrat, he set in machinery in place and empowered RISEC to go ahead and conduct this election. But to our greatest chagrin, those that were up initially calling for the conduct of the elections, we are not the ones going to courts to see how they could stop the election from being conducted, all in the name of fighting a governor that is very peaceful, that wants the right thing to be done in this nation. So we do not know where those sort of characters are coming from. But I can tell you as a Rivers son and as the president of all Rivers State ethnic youth leaders, that the elections of the Rivers State local government will hold this Saturday, 5th of October, and nothing will stop it.
All right, you did mention that some people are trying to stop the elections. Could you elaborate more on who these persons are? And could there be any reason why they want to stop the elections? I mean, for some of us as journalists, we do know reasons, but of course for the benefit of our viewers.
The people that are trying to stop the elections are, of course, under democratic forces that are acting in the states, head and loyal to the Minister of the FCT. That is also being orchestrated and managed by the former acting APC chairman in the state, Mr. Tony Okusha, who went to courts to see how to scuttle that election from taking place. But thank God that
anyway, we're still
had already, discontinued that particular suit.
Okay, very quickly, I do understand that we have some network difficulties there. I mean, how do you see the issues affecting Rivers State politics? As we know, there have been political instability. How do you see these issues coming to an end? Because so far, so good. It seems like the governor does not have enough time to focus on enriching the state and its indigents benefiting from what democracy has to give to them.
No, I give it to the governor, because in the face of these doubting challenges, he has been up and doing. This is a governor that has awarded contracts worth billions of naira. In fact, the single contract by this governor, I cannot compare it to any other state in this country as of today. Remember, this is the governor that awarded the Port Harcourt Ring Road. That's about 200 billion. Awarded the Trans-Calabari Road, 220-something billion. He's handling the hospital. These projects are numerous. And it shows leadership.
But the FCT
because
minister
once expected that.
But the FCT minister said that he was the one who awarded the Ring Road and not Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Are you there? Anyway. Well, I want to say thank you so much for joining us, being due to some network connectivity. A conversation we would like to have possibly in due time and also in our subsequent news bulletin. Let's move on now to our next story here on News Now. Young Nigerians beaming with optimism about the country's future say they are convinced that with patience and hope, Nigeria will soar to greater heights. This was as they trooped to the streets of Abuja, the federal capital, in commemoration of Nigeria's 64th independence celebration. Well, News Central's Joshua Imarayi has more in this report. We'll bring to you that report once again in our subsequent bulletin. The National Association of Nigerian Students has called on the federal government to improve the learning environment for Nigerian students as the nation marks its 64th independence anniversary. The leadership of the union made this known in Abuja during a pro-government Independence Day rally at the Maitama area of the Federal Capital Territory. Emmanuel Bagudu has more in this report.
Anti-government protesters been dispersed with tear gas canisters at the Utako area of the Federal Capital.
Don't move, comrades, don't move!
However, in a different twist of events, Pro-government protesters were protected by heavily armed security personnel. On one side is Nigeria's apex student union body, the National Association of Nigerian Students, while on the other hand are some members of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, all pledging support for Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu.
Sending message to the government that while commending them for the CNG buses, we want to tell the government of the day that the students and the youth are very important in our society. In every decision, at every level, they should be carried along. In employment, too, the youth should be carried along. And most importantly, palliative youth should be carried along. The youth are very important. We decided to be positive and be patriotic.
Are we looking at the cup as half full or half empty? The president came, made these reforms, and also put in place programs. So today, as we celebrate independence, we are calling on all the youth of Nigeria to key into these programs for the economic emancipation, independence, forward voyage of our country, Nigeria.
Some of the students present at the rally expressed their wishes for Nigeria in the light of the Independence Day celebration.
A happy independence to every Nigerian out there, both at home and in diaspora. We should keep the hope alive. We are driving change, and I'm very sure Nigeria will be better.
To every Nigerian out there, we have a role to play to nation building. We have a role to play to a digital economy. We have a role to play in transforming the economy of Nigeria into a better one. Cheers to Nigeria.
And I'm here to encourage each youth of Nigeria to stand strong. As we stand strong, we are united, we stand strong.
I'm happy I came to celebrate Nigeria at 64, and I'm very happy and I enjoy the harmony and everything. Thank you.
Despite the impression of a tension-filled day with the hashtag Fearless October, the atmosphere in the Federal Capital Territory remained calm as security agencies continued their patrol and manned several key points within the city center. In Abuja, for News Central, I am Emmanuel Bagudu.
Go on, some celebration there. Well, residents of Jos, the Plateau State capital, have learnt their voices, among others, asking for a better country while commemorating the 64th independence anniversary of Nigeria. While some are of the view that nothing is worth celebrating, others believe there is every reason to mark the achievements of the country 64 years after colonial rule. News Central's Chizoba Nyongwe tells us more.
64 years after Nigeria's independence, many citizens feel a lot should have been achieved. Sadly, they feel citizens have been shortchanged by Nigerian leaders. Residents of Jos are calm, going about their lawful businesses, while some others are away from work to observe the public holiday. Some advocates of good governance had set aside October 1 to protest the ills in the country, but such did not happen in Plateau State, probably because of the fragile peace in recent time. Some residents spoke to News Central about their thoughts on Nigeria's Independence Day 64 years after, noting the economic hardship experienced by many.
How much is petrol today, for example? I had to follow Keke, left my car. I had a function here, but I had to leave my car at home because I cannot afford to buy 1 gallon of fuel to put in my car. So really, there's really nothing to celebrate about, if you ask me.
Where the bank of trust is no longer there, you discover that for growth to happen, it wouldn't just take place. So that's just what's happening to Nigeria. There's a disconnect between the leaders and the followers.
Our leaders have taken us, Nigerian, for granted too much. Nothing is working. What are we even celebrating? 64 years of independence, we have nothing to show than to just thank God that we are alive.
They feel that public office holders have a lot to do for a better Nigeria.
It is for the government to be assertive in its tackling of the problems in the land, primarily the insecurity in the land, and then to take deliberate policy decisions that will address the challenges that we are having with the economy.
Our leaders will have to be sincere, being deliberate, and they have to take decisive decision on how to make this country go forward. Just like where you hear any younger person will say the American dream. What is the Nigerian dream?
The way out is the youth to take the bull by the horn and come out in 2027 and vote massively for anybody that we think that can bring us out of this mess we are in.
While a greater number of Nigerians feel disappointed at the situation of things in the country, it is also a wake-up call to all and sundry to contribute their quota in making Nigeria a home for everyone to live in. In Jos for News Central, Chizoba Anyowe.
Nigerians have been urged to be patient amidst the ongoing economic challenges. Now, this comes at a critical time when many Nigerians are grappling with economic difficulties. According to some Nigerians in South Africa, the current government needs the support and collective effort of all for a better Nigeria to seek paths forward.
Since the advent of the current administration on 29 May 2023, government has taken decisive steps to ameliorate challenges facing our people by introducing pro-poor policies to reduce the impact of the global economic recession. Consequently, in July 2024, His Excellency Bola Tinubu, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, signed into law a new minimum wage for all Nigerian workers, in addition to the introduction of several social palliatives for all Nigerian citizens to address challenges occasioned by the removal of fuel subsidy. The implementation of the new minimum wage has since taken effect.
The current president is working. This is our 16th month in office. Nigeria is clocking 64 today. It's been over 62 years of wrath. And now that we're in power, we're trying to reform. And you know, reform takes quite a while to start gesticulating. So my message to Nigeria is that please trust the process. We're working to ensure that we lay the right foundation for Nigeria, for the project Nigeria to start working.
We're talking of a country. Nigeria has has worked this journey for 64 years, and Nigeria is going to come out of it. Though we are having some challenges during this period, but it's been progressive with the current government.
The International Press Center has expressed worry over the non-compliance to freedom of information requests by chief executive officers of government-owned agencies and organizations. The executive director of the center made this known during a visit to the Ministry of Justice in Abuja, where he urged the ministry to engage with the CEOs and find out why the requests are being disregarded despite provisions from the Act mandating compliance.
We stated clearly that we're worried that we still have a number of MDAs, ministries, departments, and agencies of government that do not comply with FOI requests. And this is also based on the annual reports that comes from the Office of the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice of the Federation. And that we would like to look at what the problems are, and through this program, the EUSDGN, we can then work together to engage the CEOs, the desk officers, such that in the coming period we are likely to see improvements at the level of compliance.
FOI is an important document to the community of persons with disability and also Nigerians in general. And so we've used this opportunity that Mr. Lanre and IPC have created to appeal to Federal Ministry of Justice to make FOI information, especially on the World Wide Web, to be more accessible by providing the audio version and also the large print version, which can be done through magnifying plugin, and also to make sure that there's a sign language interpretation added to that portal.
We have few non-state actors collaborating with us on the implementation of Freedom of Information Act. Like what our pamphlet said, some of the I don't know how to place them, really, because I was pondering about this set of people. They call themselves CSOs, but they use FOI as blackmailing tools, seriously, to extort money from CEOs. And I will not really blame them, because most of CEOs don't understand FOI. They don't. Seriously, if they have understood FOI, they will know that these people can't blackmail them.
Well, away from that story, yesterday marked different reactions from different persons following the national address by President Bola Tinubu. On one hand, youths came out en masse to celebrate, while on the other hand, there were protests in different parts of the country. We do understand that we have our man Joshua Imarayi, who's on grounds to give us a latest report on what's going on in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. Joshua, thanks for joining me this morning. Can you bring us up to speed with what the situation really is like in Abuja? Are there any signs of protest, security? And what's the aftermath of yesterday's celebration in Aso Rock?
Well, good morning, Joe. I am here particularly at the Federal Secretariat, the intersection leading to the 3-arm zone, that's the legislative quarters of Nigeria, as well as the executive seat of power, that is the Aso Rock. And everything seems to be normal here. Usually here, where we have here stationed some armored vehicles here yesterday, and this place was filled with security presence, but that is not the case today. As you can see, these vehicles, they've gone back to their stations or barrack or whatever, and activity seems to be going normal here. As you can see, people are boarding transport, boarding buses to go to work, and the activities here have gone back to normal. Everything seems normal. Everyone is going on their daily activities as it was a normal day. Considering the protest, there will not be any indication that anything will happen like that here today, but we are still observing the entire situation here to give you a report as it happened.
All right. So we can rightly say that as it stands, Nigerians have gone back to what it was, which is the daily life without paying attention to the ongoing protests. But can you also confirm to us if there were any slight signs of persons with placards, if at all, within the area or other areas within Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory?
There is none as of now. There is none. There is no person using placard here. I think that the any reaction to the end bad governance protest actually sends waves of signals to the citizens and Nigerians in particular, because the protest seems to be discouraged. Citizens now, rather than protest, they are comfortable sitting in their homes, letting everything slide. There is no person using placard here. There is no one demonstrating. Everyone seems to be going to work and their daily activities. Everything is normal here.
All right. Let's talk about the presidential speech, which was granted yesterday. He did mention about the 30 days for Confab, especially the Youth Confab. What's the reaction of youth, especially in Abuja there? What are they saying about the mention of 30 days for youths to actually have a conference, a talk with the government, and so on? I mean, you've been going around town. What are people saying? What are the youth saying in Abuja?
Most youth here in Abuja, they are of the opinion that that is another avenue that will attract friends of the political party, the leading political party, to dine and wine with them. That's the allegation they are throwing so far, that they don't see that contract solving any problem, because they are of the view that it is just another avenue for the president to gather those who they think is loyal to him, to discuss, have merry, as you might say. People are of the opinion that the contract will not really give any effect. It is quite unfortunate that Nigerians don't seem to trust processes like this. There's this disgruntled mindset that anything that comes from the seat of power is not going to favor Nigerians in particular. So that's the entire mindset here. They are not optimistic of the entire contract as arranged by the president and announced in his speech. They are just leading that nothing will change.
All right. So they are of the opinion that nothing will change after the presidential speech yesterday. Well, we'll get back to you again once more. Joshua Imarayi, thank you so much for being the eyes and ears over there in Abuja. Well, let's tell you what's coming up next here on News Now. Kenyan lawmakers seek to impeach Deputy President. We'll tell you about this story and more. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. The news continues in Southern Africa, where supermarkets, vendors, commuter, omnibus operators and tuck shops in Zimbabwe are reportedly rejecting payments in the ZiG currency following a 43% devaluation effected by Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. Governor John Mushayavangu also said, well, as a result, traders are now only accepting payments in USD, leaving many Zimbabweans who have previously lost savings due to currency changes in a difficult position. Critics argue that the Zimbabwean government has effectively rejected its own currency from the start, as the ZiG cannot be used for essential transactions like passport applications, customs duties, rentals or fuel purchases. The ZiG was introduced in April 2024 at a rate of ZiG, that's about 13.50 ZiG to $1 and was initially promoted as a solution to Zimbabwe's ongoing economic crisis, but it has since seen heavy devaluation on the black market. Well, joining me now is an economic analyst from Harare, Prosper Chitambara. Welcome and good morning to you. Let's go straight into this. One would ordinarily think that there has been a final solution to Zimbabwe's nagging economic crisis. But what is the general sentiment among the economic community regarding the recent devaluation? And is there a sense of optimism or pessimism, if I may say?
Well, I think there is, or the sentiment is rather mixed, but I would say a lot of people obviously are probably pessimistic, given the fact that we have had these challenges, macroeconomic challenges, for the longest of times. For some, like us, we are cautiously optimistic that if we do things right, especially around fiscal and monetary discipline, as well as institutional reforms, I think we should be able to turn around the economy and ensure there is sustained growth and sustainable development. But the situation is tough, very challenging, especially for the ordinary person. Also, given the fact that this year is a drought year, so a lot of people are obviously struggling to put food on the table because of the drought, and the drought is also imposed significant pressures on pricing in general, especially food pricing. So this year is a very challenging year, definitely.
Well, we do understand that some economists may be of the opinion that this is just a teething stage, that as time goes on, the ZiG would coast along the lines of a final improvement, which will then see Zimbabweans become more confident in use of trade. But it seems like the government is also being fingered of not accepting ZiG, especially in other aspects of daily life. Can you expatiate more to us on what the borderline simply is between the consumer and, of course, the government, and how ZiG will likely perform in a few months to come?
Well, I think for me, to ensure currency stability and sustainability, there are fundamental factors that we must get right. First and foremost, the issue of fiscal and monetary discipline is very critical. We need to put a tight rein on money supply growth, but also even on public spending. But like I said earlier on, this year being a drought year, there has been significant pressures, especially on public spending. So the deficit this year is wider than last year. And the financing of that deficit has also contributed to the unsustainable growth in money supply. When you look at the money supply figures, the official money supply figures from the central bank, there has been a significant increase in money supply, both narrow money supply and also broad money supply between end of April and also end of June. So that obviously has stirred up inflationary pressures within the economy. But also the issue of production is critical. Our production this year, because of the drought, production has actually gone down across key sectors, including manufacturing. But mining has also been affected by the softening of commodity prices. So all the key sectors of our economy this year have actually declined or are in decline. Then related to the issue of production is the issue of reserves. We don't have adequate reserves to provide sufficient cover to the local currency. Currently, we are sitting on probably around 400, at most about $400 million worth of reserves, which in my view is grossly inadequate to provide sufficient cover and ensure stability and sustainability for the ZIG. When we look at countries in the regions, Zambia, for example, they have more than $4 billion worth of reserves. And then Botswana, they are sitting on about $5 billion worth of reserves. As for Zimbabwe, we estimate that we need at least 3 months import cover, which is about 2.7 billion US at the barest minimum.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Anyway, I want to say thank you so much for breaking it down for us, Dr. Chitambara. Hopefully, we can get more insights into what ZIG is doing and how it will indeed perform in the next few months to come. Thank you for your time. All right. In East Africa, Kenyan lawmakers have initiated a motion to impeach the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua. This comes in an unprecedented political move portending an acrimonious fallout within the ruling party. The East African country's politics has been in turmoil since March, following deadly protests over a spiraling cost of living crisis and deeply unpopular tax hikes. Gachagua is accused of undermining the government, being involved in corruption, insubordination, practicing ethnically diversive politics, and also among a slew of other charges. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring to you more news and more updates from around the continent of Africa and beyond. Stay with us. And in the world of sports, Addis Ababa will host the 2024 ITTF Africa Championships from October 12 to 19, marking Ethiopia's first time in 24 years to stage this prestigious tournament. The event, highlighting Africa's top table tennis talent, is expected to showcase Ethiopia's rich cultural heritage and warm hospitality. Participants will have opportunities to explore famous attractions like the National Museum and enjoy authentic Ethiopian coffee. In addition to the competition, a new leadership team for the African Table Tennis Federation will be elected, adding to the event's significance. President Tesfaye Bizani aims to inspire a new generation of players and boost Ethiopia's international sporting profile while promoting tourism through this culturally enriching experience. Well, let's move on now with more news and tell you that world record holder Nigerian hurdler Tobi Amusan has announced an upcoming documentary chronicling her athletic career. This film will explore her journey from early beginnings to major triumphs, highlighting the challenges she faced, including a high-profile drug ban that was later overturned. The announcement marks Amusan's first significant public move in nearly 3 months, as she has stayed out of the spotlight since a disappointing performance at the Paris Olympics, where she failed to qualify for the women's 100 meters hurdles final. Following that setback, she withdrew from key events, including the Diamond League final in Brussels. The documentary is set to release by this year's end, providing fans with an exclusive look at the highs and lows of her career. The Nigerian under-17 women's team, the Flamingos, have departed for a 2-week training camp in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, in preparation for the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. The tournament runs from October 16 to November 3, 2024, with Nigeria in Group A alongside the host nation, Ecuador, and New Zealand. Coach Bankole Oluokere, who previously led the team to a 3rd-place finish in India, is optimistic about their performance. He has announced a 21-player squad featuring Captain Taiwo Afolabi and standout forwards Harmony Chidi and Peace Effiong. This training tour aims to enhance the team's readiness for the upcoming competition. That's all the news we have for you for this hour. But before we go, a quick look at some of the major stories. Reactions as October 1st protests recorded low turnouts nationwide. Also in the news, we told you that Kenyan lawmakers are seeking to impeach deputy president. Also, widespread rejection recorded in Zimbabwe over ZiG currency devaluation. You can watch the news 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on News Central by tuning in to DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274. You can also stream live on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Joe Hanson. 10 a.m. on the dot. The ladies are back with Jasiri. Good morning.